Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Fun Stuff Friday, and of course, you just heard the dog come in because she's noisy. As you know, we swatched these last night on a live stream. It's 280 colored pencils. The company name is DBDSZYH. It looks like cat walked over top of the keyboard, and that's what they went with. So we will be doing our first impressions and our testing of these today. While I was swatching last night, I did find that a lot of the greens especially are a little bit dry, so they have a bit of a scratch to them. I have gone through and re-swatched them and messed up that re-swatch, but so I will have to re-swatch them again. Yeah, I missed a couple of pencils. I missed one here, but then I put that one in and missed these two. So I will redo it. But after going through and doing it again on this page, there's still a couple, even after sharpening, that are still a little dry, a little scratchy on the thin layer. So on the single layer, they're a little scratchy, but if I put a little bit more pressure on them to do the dark layer, they're not as scratchy. So I think that it just needs a little bit of layering to avoid that scratch. But for now, we're going to work on this one because it's at least the full swatch. Except for, of course, number 211, because 211 is a messed up pencil. So, and I did try to sharpen it with an X-Acto blade, and that just did not help. So 211 is kind of not there. So what we're going to do is we're going to test these. As you can see, they have a really good range of yellows into the peach tones, into the oranges, and into the reds and pinks, and into the red violets, into the violets, and then into the blue violets here, and then into the blues. It is very heavy in greens and blues, but there's a couple of blues that are really close to each other and could possibly not even be there, and you would never notice. But I like more, so to me more is better. Same with a couple of the greens. A couple of the greens could be left out and you wouldn't even notice. And of course I am filming, so the train has to come by at this exact moment. So it is going to get a little loud. I do apologize. I am using an external microphone instead of my headset microphone. So sometimes the train can be a little bit louder. That was just a little one, I think. So hopefully it won't be too loud. So on the back side here, I have gone through and I have done the 3 dots for the water test. Of course, that is pencils number 99, 4, and 50. So this is number 50, this is number 4, and this is number 99. They are the purest of those colors that I could find. And it is an actual true red, which is amazing. So, and I seem to have skinned my thumb somehow. Alright, I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera, and we're going to grab our water brush. Make sure there's some water in it. Make sure it's not too wet. Now I'm not going to saturate these because of course you're not going to saturate your page, but as you can see they definitely run with water. The red does anyway. And the yellow does. And so does the blue. So definitely not something you want to use with your water mediums. They will run. So failed the water test, but that's to be expected. These are an oil-based pencil, and even Faber-Castells do run with water. All right, so let's do our smudge test here. So let's start with, let's do it in the same order as our water test. So yeah, we're gonna do dots. We're gonna do circles, but we're just gonna do small circles so that it's easy to fill in. I'm just putting a really heavy layer of color down. I will brush away any excess to make sure that we're not grabbing hold of that and smudging that. The reason why I do a heavy layer is because by the time you're done coloring an area, you've got several different layers there, whether it be an oil-based pencil or a wax-based pencil or whatnot. You're going to end up having all of your color in the area that you're working over top of, because you've already finished that area. So that's why I do a heavy hand on those colors, because on the smudge areas, because I expect that it would smudge. It would be more an irritation if it smudged after I had finished an area, if that makes sense. All right, so we've got our smudge bits there. We've got a small dot of red, a small dot of yellow, and a small dot of blue. I'm making sure that any excess color is off the page with my handy dandy brush. All right, so clean finger and the red smudges. Okay, clean finger and the blue smudges. And so does the yellow. The yellow is not as easy to see, but it still smudges just a little bit. So make sure that when you are coloring an area, not to rub it back and forth with your hand. I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on these, and it's not a huge amount of smudge with the pressure I've put on it. So going back and forth with your hand may not cause any problems, but if you're heavy-handed and you're using this part of your hand over top, this part of your hand, you may find that it's going to smudge. All right, so we're going to do a tri-blend here. So I've got 3 different colors that are close, that I would want to put together as a progressive blend. So I'm going to start with 243. I'm going to turn you sideways here a little bit. Let's see, I'll move you so you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put down the layers. These are an oil-based pencil, so make sure that you layer them. Don't do a heavy hand on them. You will find that you kill your paper very quickly if you use a heavy hand. Now I'm leaving a tail so that the next color has something to grip into. So there's our first color, and it coated quite well with the amount that I put down. There's not a lot of white spot in that. Now in the next color, we're going to go into the first color onto that tail. And we're going to leave a tail for the next color. That's 5 layers of color. And then we're going to add our last color, which is 125. So I put down 243 first, 207, and then I'm going to put down 125. And I'm of course going into the tail of the other. And as you can see, I've got a fairly good blend there. You can't see where it stops, where it ends. I'll turn on the light so you can see a little bit better. So there's the light area there, the medium, and then the dark. And you don't see where the blend combines. So you can see that there's a progression of color. However, you don't see where it stops and where it starts, which is a good thing. Tells me that it blends together quite well. Now we're going to do a rainbow blend here. So a rainbow blend, of course, is going from red to yellow and then yellow to blue. So let's put our red down. And once again, I'm going to put down a couple of layers, leaving a tail so that the yellow can blend into it. So there's our red, and there's our tail there. That's where we're going to blend that yellow into it. Now what I'm looking for is for that yellow to turn orange. Now with oil-based pencils, because they are a layering pencil, you may have to add a little bit more red to that depending upon how much red you put down. So I'm just going to go over the red one more time just to make sure that I have enough red down. I saw a lot of white spots, so I'm just making sure that I cover up some of that white spot. And then okay. And we have a bit of movement from the red into the yellow. The yellow has picked it up, which is fine, but we're going to start with the blue here into the yellow tail that we have there. And I think we're just going to go over that one more time on both sides with the yellow, just to make sure that we have a good amount of color there. Okay, so definitely have a red to orange, yellow. Now the green is a dark green. It's definitely not the blend that I would want it to be, but it does change the color. And it could just be that I don't have enough color down. Let's play with this just a little bit here. Make sure that I have enough color down there. So I put a little bit more color down and it definitely turned a lot more green. I'll turn this off so that you can actually, I don't like this camera. It can never pick up green. But as you can see, it does go from red to orange, yellow, green, and blue. I'll switch over to the other camera so you can see that a little bit better. Okay. So as you can see there, it goes red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. So that tells me that it does do a rainbow blend quite well, and the edges aren't extremely prominent, which is good as well. So now we're going to see if we can blend these with and remove the white spot with a blender pencil. So let's start with the yellow. And I'm going a little harder up here at the top and lighter down at the bottom. leaving some of that white spot. I'll switch you over to the other camera so you can actually see what I'm talking about, so that I can leave that white spot. Now I'm going to use the Derwent blender, and what I want to be doing is I want to be able to move this heavy area down into this lighter area, filling in that white spot and making it even across the board. So I'm moving that heavier layer down into that thinner layer, filling in that white spot. All right, and it definitely did do that. The odd little bits was something that was on my blender pencil there, so that's my fault. Okay, so it worked quite well with the Derwent blender pencil. So let's try it with the blue because it's easier to see. So I'm going to do it heavier up here. I'm going to use the Caran d'Ache blender on this one. Now I'm using these two blenders because they are the two blenders that I use the most. And basically all I'm doing is I'm just filling in that white spot, moving that pigment around to blend that in and fill in that white spot. You can do this also with a blender pen, which is what we're going to do with the red one. And the Caran d'Ache did quite well, filling in that white spot. So let's go this way, just to clean it up a little bit. And it definitely moved that pigment down from the dark to the light. Now for the red, we're going to use the Koi coloring brush pen. This is a water-based blending pen for colored pencils. Now with this one, I'm not going to put a heavy layer on the top. I'm going to put an even layer all the way through and see if it'll pick up if it washes the color out. Okay, so I'm just going to smooth that out with the brush pen. We'll let that dry. Now, as you can see, it picked up a little bit of that color. Personally, for me, I like these two better than the brush pen. I find that the brush pen picks up too much color. Another blending pen that you can use, of course, is your alcohol brush marker pen, or your alcohol pen. I'm just going to get the color off of the edge there, and I'm going to just blend these all together for a continuation. Now, as you can see, it looks like it is gone translucent. Once that dries, because it's an alcohol marker, it will dry quite quickly. Once it dries, it should be a smooth blend across. So it passed the blender pencil, it passed the color tri-blend, and it passed the rainbow blend. It did fail the water as well as the smudge test. Personally, I would not use a water-based blending pen on it, I feel that it lifts up way too much of the color. The alcohol marker did quite well in blending that. I don't see any line on it at all, and it didn't lift up all the pigment, which is great. So let's try one more time on this one. Yellow is hard to tell if it's lifted up the pigment. However, red, green, blue, that sort of thing is going to be easier to tell. So it does lift up a little bit of the pigment, but as you can see, it fills in that line quite nicely. So definitely can use an alcohol-based blender pen on it. I don't use a lot of blender pens myself. I just don't. I would rather grab my pencil. It gives me a lot more control than a blender pen per se. All right, so let's stick these over here, and we're going to put these back. Let's see, where's... Oh, let's see, where's my chart? Oh yeah, in front of me. So I need 207. Just going to put the progressive colors back in their places. And 25. Okay. And then we'll put the yellow, red, and blue back in their places. And we'll have to find a picture. Now, one thing I am noticing with the in and out of the trays, they do seem to catch the edge of the box, and I have flipped a lot of trays that way. So definitely a set of pencils that you're going to want to put into a bag or a pencil holder of some sort. Otherwise, you're just going to end up flipping your pencils everywhere. All right, so let's see if we can find something small to color. Let's see here. I have a few works in progress here that need to have little bits done on them, so let's take a look at those. Maybe. I might have put them away. Yeah, I think I did. That's fine. Oh. All right, so we've got a little picture here that we can color. So we've got a little camping picture here. Now all of these I've colored with different colored pencils. So we'll color the little camping picture. So let's go into the close-up here. Now this is on tan paper. It's not on the Desert Storm. It's just tan tone paper. All right. So let's start with moving some of these out of the way. All right. So let's start. Trying to think of the best colors to start with. And greens seem to be the thing. Of course, this is a summery type of picture, so our greens are going to be our starting point because of the amount of trees and everything else that are there. So I'm just going to put that in there, and then we're going to start with the evergreens. So we're going to grab this one here, I think. Yeah. And we're going to give it a sharpen. So this is number 111. And we're just going to go through and do all the shadowy areas and the defining areas of the tree. Now this is a night picture, so there is a lot of nighttime shadowing on it as well. Not that it matters right now. Yesterday I had a horribly stuffy nose. Today is not so bad, thank goodness. Alright, and then we're going to grab a lighter as well. This is number 54. We're just going to blend that all together. Like so. Not too bad. It's only a couple of layers on it. Definitely a layering pencil. Alright, so this one goes over here. This one goes in there. Let's see, this tree here looks like it's going to be a lighter type of tree. So let's go the opposite direction with this one. So let's cover all of the light areas first. And I'm covering the whole thing, and I'll come through with the dark and define the leaves. And of course, this is a free page from Rita Berman's Europia book, I do believe. No, this is a different one of hers. This is a free page by Rita Berman, but it's not from Europia. It's another free page that she gave out ages ago. Alright, now I want a bright green, but a dark green. So I think I want this one. Yeah. Let's just shove that right over there. And then we're just going to fill in this area here. So they blend together both ways. They seem to blend quite well together from light to dark and from dark to light. And then we'll take a really, really light one. And we'll just clean that all up. Blend it all together. Basically what I mean by blend is combine everything so that the colors continue into each other seamlessly, so that you don't see any hard lines in your coloring. And of course, like I said, these are an oil-based pencil, so they do need a bit of finessing and a bit of layering. Not as much as other pencils do, but they do have some layering necessities. Alright, so let's try some of these blue-green kind of colors here. I'll make this one a blue spruce. Alright, so we've got the blue in. Now let's add some green. And then we'll add a little bit of darker green. And once again, we'll go over it with our light yellowy green just to give it that extra little bit of moonlight. There we have it. Okay, so definitely the greens are working quite nicely. We're going to use a little bit of the, let's do a purple tint. Use some light purple, medium purple, and a red violet kind of purple. So sharpen these up. Now I'm not going to color this whole picture. We are also going to compare these to the Obos colored pencils as well. Now I'm starting off with the dark because I want those harder lines that I'm putting in to be blended into those lighter colors. Okay, now we're going to take our medium. We're just going to extend out those harder lines. And they seem to be going down pretty nicely on this paper, which is great. Now we're going to use a lighter purple and fill in those areas. Now if you feel that those light colors have taken over your darker, your brighter color, you can definitely go back over it with the brighter color and just extend it out into whatever area that you feel is too light. When you do this on top of a light color, basically it gives you a new color because you're blending and combining those colors, just like you do with the rainbow blend. Now you're probably saying, well, why didn't you do that in the first place? Well, because they are an oil-based pencil, you just have to layer until you get to the right spot. Sometimes it's a one and done kind of thing. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 different color or 4 or 5 different layers. Hello, Mr. Choo Choo. Trains are busy today. There we go. So we've got our purple tint all done up there. Put those back. And I think we'll do a yellow. Oh, let's do a pink. Let's do some pinks. Let's grab this one. So 3 different colors of pink. We're going to do our little blanket there. So this one I'm going to start with the light because there's so much edging and that sort of thing that we're going to do with the medium and the dark. We want that light to shine through. So we'll start with the light first, and then we'll go over it with the medium. On the edges of the borders and that sort of thing. Sorry about the train. And then we're going to take our dark and we're going to just do that very, very, very fine edge there. And then because the tint is there, we're going to assume the tint is blocking the light. So we're going to add that shadow into the blanket. Like so. And we'll go over it with the light one more time. Like that. And it blended very nicely together. Got a good adhesion. Those colors combined without any difficulties, which is good. Alright, so let's see what other colors do we have here that we haven't used yet. Let's do some stars. Now the blacks are at the very, very bottom, so we might not get to the we're not going to do a black sky, so let's do the stars first, and then we'll do a dark purple sky, I think. So I'm just using a bright yellow, a medium yellow actually, it's not a really bright yellow for the stars. And then we're going to take a really dark, deep purple, so I need number 97. And we're just going to start on the edges here, and we'll just build that color up. Just kind of coat everything, and then I'll come back through with a dark blue and do the edges. Sorry guys, I'm off screen. How rude. So I'm just doing a light layer till I get to a point where I can stop, and then I'll come back through and I'll do another light layer on top of it. I'm trying to leave enough tooth so that I can add some blue and make this into a deeper dark sky in the edge areas. So in the areas that aren't going to be as dark, I still want to put 2 layers of this down, but I won't be going over that with the dark blue. So like down here, the artist has shown me that that area is going to be darker just by putting in her little spots there. And this area up here is going to be lighter. All right. Just building that color. It seems to be working quite well on this gray toned paper. I do believe it's, or not gray toned, tan toned. I do believe it is a, I think it's a 69 or 67 pound paper. There we go. Okay, so there's our purple. Now once again, I'm going to come back through here with a heavier layer into those areas that are going to be darker. Without killing the paper, because like I said, I'm going to come back through this with a dark blue and darken that up for the night sky. Okay, so we're going to grab a dark blue. Without dropping your pencils. Alright, so I need number 99, I think. Just looking at the deepest areas, actually 133 might work better. Where are you? There you are. Sharpen this up. Number 134 would be a little, well, let's try that one. Actually, let's try that one because it's a better choice. It's a little bit darker. All right, so we've got number 134. And we're going to go over the darkest areas into that purple. Darkening that up. Like so. this blue does have a bit of a dry feeling to it. It is one of the darker blues available in the set, so it may be a pigmentation thing. I'm not feeling anything cutting into the paper or scratching the paper itself, but the pencil itself feels a little dry. Over everything. Doing the shadows. Alright, and then we're going to take our purple again. Which is in this other one. And we're just going to soften up some of those edges. Like so. Alright, so there is our night sky. Using purples and blues instead of blacks gives it a little bit more dimension. You know, I could use a pure black on this. However, sometimes I find that the blacks aren't as black as you want them to be. This set does have 3 different levels of black, so definitely if you were to go over this with black, you would get a really, really dark black. I don't want it to be a dark black at this point because there's stars in the sky. So. Okay. Not bad at all. All right, so let's do, let's see. A lot of these things are grass type colors or greens, so let's do the white bunny and then we'll move on. This one just for a little bit of dimension. And we'll blend it in with some white. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to the other camera here so you can see a little bit better. Turn off that light. I'm actually going to zoom you in a little bit here. Oh, too much, too much. There we go. So as you can see, the white does show up white on the tan tone, which is good. The colors do combine quite well to make a nice dark background. They do combine to create shadow as well as depth and highlights. So they do pretty good. So let's actually do a quick comparison to the Obos on the back side of the sheet here now that it's dry. Now the Obos is a 200 pencil set. And of course I didn't take it down beforehand because, you know, hindsight is 2020. I just didn't think about it. All right, so let's put these away. Now the Obos are numbered in numeric order. However, I don't have them set up in numeric order. And I do have them in their little Obos bag. So let's start with, let's see, what's this one? All right. So these two pencils here are both number 39. They're exactly the same bands, numbers, and colored pencil information there. I don't know if you can see that because it's that gold lettering. So I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera here so you can see a little bit better. So as you can see, exactly 39 on both sides, colored pencil, and then on the opposite side is the number again and the brand. Brand is done in the same gold, same color on the barrels, and this is the Obos. And we'll dust that off. And that is the blah, 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 blah. So they're the exact same color. There's no defining between the two of those. So let's try a deeper color so you can see it a little bit better. So let's put these ones back. And we'll try, let's see, number 50. Should be this one. That's 150. There's 150 in here. That one I may have put with the orange reds. Number 157. Where's that one? That one should be right there. Alright, so these ones here are number 157. So as you can see, the Obos is a deeper pink color on the barrel than this one. This one here has got a lighter pink tone to it. But let's see if the color is the same. These are the exact same numbers. This is the Obos. Exact same color number on them. And this is the other. And as you can see, there is no difference between the two. You can actually combine them completely, make them look like they're all the same pencil. I do find that the Obos feel a little bit smoother. Let's see. Could be because my Obos on is a little duller, so let's dull this one up a little bit. But definitely the same color. So the same colors, same numbers. The barrel color is off just a little bit. One is slightly darker than the other. Let's try a different color. Let's take a look here. So what's this one? This one is number 184. So that's the Obos. Get to that color here. So some of the barrels look a little different. Once again, the Obos is lighter than the barrel on this one. They both look the same color in the lead or core, whatever you want to call it. This is the Obos. So that's 2. So 3 halves on it. One, 2, 3. Exactly the same color. Although I think the Obos has just a touch more red in it. Let's see. Yeah, the Obos has a little tiny touch more pink in it. So it could be the same manufacturer that has created the pencils, but not the same formula, or they've changed the formula just slightly, because these are the exact same color numbers. They look to be the same pencil, but the Obos does have a little bit more of a pink undertone to it. So I'll switch you over to the other camera so you can see a little bit better. So as you can probably see, this one here is a little bit darker than this one here. This one's got a little bit more pink in it than this one. But these ones here are identical. These ones here are identical. You know, I think if you were to use either or pencil, you wouldn't know the difference. Very interchangeable. Which is good. Good, 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 good. Let's see. Yeah, so I think, in my opinion, they're a duplicate of the Obos. So let's grab this one here. See what color is that? That's number 46. It should be this one. Yep. So, number 46. Both pencils, both same color. So there's just one pass. Pressed a little bit hard there. So I pressed a little hard there, but where I went lighter, It's pretty much the same color as the Obos. Just holding it up to the light so I can see. Yeah, they're the same color. So this is the D and this is the O. So you pretty much can't tell the difference beyond where I pressed a little harder there. So in my honest opinion, I would honestly say that they are at the very least, manufactured in the same facility. That a lot of the colors are identical. There may be a slight modification to some of their cores where there's a slight difference in the tone, but they're the exact same color. So like the purples, for example, there's a difference in the tone, but if I go over this one with the DD whatever, the cat hack, hairball hack, um, you can't really tell the difference between the two. This side here has a bit of a pink undertone to it, comparatively. They feel the same. Just going to see how they blend in difference to the Obos. In my opinion, the Obos seem to blend a little bit better. So this one here is the Obos. Let's just make sure I don't have any stuff all over that. This one here is the Obos. Yeah, so they blend about the same too. The Obos on this side I think had more layers on it. But definitely really, really close to the exact same colors. These ones here, you can't tell the difference whatsoever. Same with the pale yellow there. Can't tell the difference whatsoever. So in my opinion, they're the same pencil. You're going to obviously have a slight difference in some pencils because with every batch, sometimes there's an extra piece of pigment that gets in there, or an extra little bit of wax that gets in there, and that changes it slightly. But it's not enough to say it's not the same color, if that makes sense. So in my opinion, this 280 set is a larger set of the Obos. It's an 80, it's got 80 more pencils than the Obos. Now the Obos have 200 pencils, which is a large amount of pencils. I'm going to zoom you out here so you can see. I did buy the Obos bag for them. Don't buy this bag unless you know how to sew. I have all my pencils in tip up, which I don't normally do, because of the fact that when you open this bag, they have a tendency to fall out. So, as you can see, they just slide right out. So, in my opinion, like right here we have number 4, which is the number that we used for our swatch and our testing. We have number 125 and the other numbers here. What we don't have in this set is anything over 200. So everything over 200 in the 280 set is not included in this set. So basically, if you find that you have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 20 or 40 of those 80 colors that aren't in the set are colors that you would use, I would suggest purchasing the larger set. If you find that there's only 2 or 3, maybe 4 colors in the higher numbers, in the over 200s, that you would use, I say go with the 200 set. I think you're going to get a good quality pencil either which way. These are a budget brand of pencil, so you are going to have water issues if you use water-based products with your pencils, and you will find that there is no open stock for them, that sort of thing. So if you do run out of a pencil, you're going to have to replace it with a full set of pencils. But with the amount of different colors that are available that are fairly interchangeable, I won't say that they're the exact same color because they're not, but they are easily interchangeable to get the color that you may have run out of. With so many colors in a set, it does make it a lot easier to just substitute a color. So, you know, if you do find that you're running out of, say, burnt orange, you know, you can easily substitute it with the next orange red or tomato orange, or, you know, something else that is close to the same color. All right, guys, with that is my final impression, or my final first impressions bit to this is, yes, I do believe that they are the Obos colored pencils. I said that last night. And with looking at the pencils closer, I have proven to myself that, yes, indeed, they are the Obos 200s with 80 extra pencils. Now, you have to remember that 24 of those 80 pencils are these metallics as well as the neons. So the fluorescents down here, or the neons and the metallics, makes up 24 of those extra 80. Anything above 200 are colors that are not going to be available in the set that you have with the Obos. So this one here, the 211 that I have an issue with, obviously I wasn't thinking when I thought I'd just pull it from the Obos. Well, I can't because it's 211. So I will, it's not a big deal. It's not a color that I can live or I can't live without, because there are a couple of other colors that are fairly close to it available in the set. So I'm not too concerned over one pencil. Out of 280 pencils, I have one bad pencil. I can't complain about that. I really can't. I thank the person that sent these to me once again. I do appreciate it. I think they are a very nice set of pencils. They have some fantastic colors and color combinations available. They do have a huge amount of greens and blues, but they are a good progression of color throughout the entire set. I just love the amount of browns and grays and gray greens and all those colors. I just love color. I think they're all fantastic. But the one thing I will say about the greens is that they are a little scratchy even after you sharpen them. So I have found that when I do use them in a layering process, the first layer that goes down is a little bit scratchy, but the more layers that I put down, the less scratchy it feels. So it's not even really scratchy, like cutting into your paper kind of scratchy. It's more of, this is really dry feeling when it's rubbing on the page. Not something that I can say, okay, this is horrible, I'm sending them back, because it's not cutting into the page. There's not chunks of stuff in the pencil that's cutting into the page or bits of pigment that aren't dissolved properly. It's because greens, especially, are a higher pigmentation comparative to the filler. And basically the filler is what makes it glide. So the more filler you have, the more glide you're going to get. So for example, these light yellows up here are going to have less pigmentation than, say, this layer of greens here, because it's a lighter color. So these are going to glide a lot easier than these ones here, is basically all it is. All right, so first impressions. Great set of colors. The greens are a little scratchier than most people would enjoy, but layer them. Once you get past that first layer, you can definitely feel the dryness lessen. They do not hold up against water, so they do run with water. They do smudge, so be careful when you're coloring a full area that you don't just rub your hand back and forth on it. It may smudge it. They do blend beautifully together in a tri-blend, so 3 different colors close to each other blended into a progressive blend. They also, or a, what is it called? A gradient blend. They also do a rainbow blend quite well, so there's red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. They do blend well with the blender pencils. I don't like them with the blender pens. And they are a match to the Obos. So the Obos 200 are a match to this 280 set. However, this does have 80 more colors in it than the Obos. Remember that 24 of those colors are metallic as well as neon. So in actuality, there's only 56. Yeah, 56 more colors in the 280 set if you don't count the metallics and the neons. If you don't use neons and don't use metallics and those don't matter to you whatsoever, there's only 56 actual colors mixed into the entire set. Alright, so those are my first impressions of the set. Of course, I will continue to play with them a bit. I do have to redo the swatch yet again. When I do have the swatch all complete, I will upload it to the cloud for my members. If you do want the swatch and you're not a member, just send me an email and I'll send it to you. I just uploading it for the members is just easier for them to get to it. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If it is the absolutely best way to support the channel is to hit that like button and let me know in the comment section what you enjoy about the channel. If you want to financially support the channel, of course, you can do so by hitting that little button below the video called Join. What that will do is take you to my memberships. And with the memberships, there's different tiers of availability so that you can help support the channel financially. Of course, there's different perks and all that fun stuff. All right, so other than that, guys, I want to say, of course, don't forget the party tomorrow. We're going to have a Christmas giveaway. So make sure that you come and visit, hang out, and color and chat for tomorrow's Saturday color and chat. Of course, we will be having a bit of a party and some coloring, and I've got a couple of works in progress I need to catch up on that we'll hang out and finish off, as well as do a couple of giveaways. And I'm not even going to tell you what you're going to win. I'm actually going to wrap them so you can't even see what it is you're winning. Isn't that fun? Believe me, you'll like it. I hope. Anyway, guys, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe. Thank you all very much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic day. And of course, I will see you again very soon. Until next time, bye-bye for now.